because I wanted to have a little store option on it where people can buy the books or any other merchandise that I might have for the Happy Hypochondriac. So, but otherwise, it's, you know, there's lots of tutorials, there's help if you need it when you're setting it up. And so you know, if you don't have the money to hire somebody to do a really nice professional website, these websites look really good. They have templates, that sort of thing. And Wix, W-I-X, is another one that's really good. Facebook, obviously. I think most, if not everybody, is on Facebook now. If you're not, it's a good thing to check out when you're promoting your book. I mean, you can get lost in it for hours, but at the same time, having a page for your writing is very important because it allows people to like it, follow it. You can post information on what's happening, where you're going to be, or where your work is appearing, you know, that sort of thing, and it'll allow people to know about it, check it out, share it with other people. Twitter, tweeting it out in those 140 characters. I need to be doing all of this more, but I think we could all say that about a lot of things, but it is really good, and I have found that when I tweet stuff out, people will retweet it if it's humorous, or I'm not just, you know, I have to try to not just say, oh, I've got the new book, buy the new book. You don't want to just say that, but you want to engage and create something that people are excited and interested to pass along or to read themselves. So in my case, I write a lot of humorous things, so I try to do humorous little tidbits on Twitter or Facebook. LinkedIn, because I don't even know exactly how it works, that and Google Plus with all the circles, it's amazing how fast you can be shown in front of somebody else when you're on LinkedIn or Google Plus. Pinterest is an interesting one. You get so many great ideas from Pinterest, but you can also link to, like on my website, for example, there'll be a picture from my blog associated with blog posts, and it'll say pin it. You know, so I try to add photographs for each blog post. That way, someone sees it, they can pin that, and then when people click on that, it'll bring them back to my blog so they can read the posts. Also, I just put on like the covers of my books onto Pinterest, and that's been really useful. I can't give you any sort of analytics of how helpful Pinterest has been in selling books, but I do know that I've had a couple people tell me they've noticed my book on Pinterest before, and just having kind of feedback like that, even if it's just one book that's ever sold because of it, that's one more than I would have before. So I feel like that's a good deal. Instagram is sort of the thing that a lot of people are using now, and it's just pictures. I mean, you're just taking pictures of things that you're doing. It's good because if you're writing nonfiction, in my case, the new book is about travel. And so I find that if I'm taking pictures from different travel experiences and I put a little tag of something funny that might have happened at that moment, then that's sort of promoting the concept of the book, but it's not necessarily like so sales pitchy, you know? But it still draws attention to it, keeps people interested in maybe what I'm doing, or you know, and then I can start following other people as well. So Instagram is a good one. Other ways to promote your work, make sure that in your college and grad school, I get these magazines that come from my university and my grad school, always update those, because this is a huge population of people for wherever you went to school that, I mean, I always look at what people have been doing. I don't know if any of you do, but I'm always looking at what everybody's up to, even people I didn't even go to school with. I'm interested. And so if you put, you know, I just got something published in the New Yorker, or I just had, you know, whatever it is that you've had exciting happen, you should put it in there, because then it just draws people to the attention that you're writing. And what's interesting about that too is because you're an alum, when the people are putting that into the magazine, who put the magazine together at the schools, they might think, well, this is interesting, we can have them write an article about this particular topic as an alum, or since they're a writer, we can promote their work in a separate little, you know, I'll see things all the time of writers or you know, other personalities, they come back and they've done little stories about them in these magazines. So that's a great opportunity to get in front of a lot of people quickly. You'll send things off to magazines, or if you've written a book, full-length book, you'll send them off to magazines to review or newspapers to review. But another good idea, especially for nonfiction, is not just to try to get them to review your work, but to pitch article ideas sort of about the work. Because then you might have a better chance of actually getting some space in the newspaper. For example, for this book, The Happy Hypochondriac Survives World Travel, I've been pitching to the travel section of newspapers and to the health section of newspapers. Like, I've written this book, here I want to, would you be interested in the topic of being able to travel and keep a positive attitude about health? I mean, there's so many health scares that are happening. I mean, especially recently with Ebola, people traveling on planes. This is a terrifying thing. How do you stay healthy when you travel? There's all these things that can happen. So I've actually had some luck with that, pitching that way. And it's been interesting. I've been contacted and had a couple of, small newspaper articles that relate to that. So it's kind of an interesting thing, especially when you have nonfiction, whatever it could be about. If it's some historical thing or something, you could pitch to specific areas of different newspapers locally, and get yourself in front of them in ways other than just reviewing the book. So, and then there's not necessarily positive or negative talk about what, whether they like the book or not, but it's, just gets you interested in the book itself. Let's see. So try that on a local level, pitching these ideas. Try it on a national level. You never know. You might be lucky. I had a little bit taken, there's just a little paragraph, but accepted into the Frommer's Budget Travel magazine, which is actually a national magazine. And that was exciting. I mean, it was, just little travel stories, but that's a national level. And then it had a little snippet at the bottom of, I'm the author of the Happy Hypochondriac series. So little things can go a long way. Let's see. Guest blogging, blogging reviews. Oh yes, so make sure that you're not just pitching your work to newspapers and magazines, but also look for other bloggers who like to review books and stories. Because there are some really popular blogs out there where you can, pitch to them, I can send you my manuscript, or I can send you my short story or my work or whatever, and they'll review it, or they'll talk about it, or they'll interview you. I've had blog interviews before, which is a lot of fun to do, because they'll just send you email questions, you respond, and then they post it on their blog and link to yours. So it's a pretty simple, takes a little research to kind of figure out who's got the blogs that are related to your specific topic that you're writing about, but it's a great opportunity to get in front of an audience you wouldn't have before. Okay. Doing a book trailer, if you've written a book, doing a book trailer is a lot of fun. If you go to my website at happyhypochondriac.com, you can see the little book trailer that I did, and it's hypochondriac pets, so it's my animals living with me, but there's little narration over the animals so that you can kind of see what they have to deal with on a daily basis. And it's actually cute, it's kind of funny. And so you create a YouTube presence by having your book trailer on your website, putting it on YouTube. Create a channel on YouTube so that you can put up, like here I have a speaking engagement, I can put this up on YouTube, it'll be there with my book trailer. Other interviews that I might do, I'll put that up on YouTube as well. And so there's an opportunity to have that sort of online presence. But back to the book trailer, you can pay an arm and a leg to do a book trailer. I mean, they can be as nice as a movie trailer. And I've got some examples here I'm going to pass around just so you have some resources if you decide to do something like this. I just made one myself and used my Mac and used pictures and music and video and did one myself, and it's just been fun to get some feedback about it. Again, it's one of those things you put out there and you're not sure if it's going to reach anybody, but it's I'd say about 500 people have, based on the analytics I have from my website and YouTube, about 500 people have watched it. And I did have one person at least tell me that they saw it and they thought it was cute and they got my book. So there you go. And it didn't take me that long to do, but I'll pass these around so you can just see the resources if you decide you ever need to do a book review, a book trailer. Then there's places listed in there where you can get free or inexpensive stock video, stock photograph, stock music, things like that that are in the public domain so that you could use that if you were doing your own thing. Let's see, radio. So radio is an excellent opportunity to get word out. Sort of the way I was discussing with nonfiction, it being a good thing with newspapers, it's the same with radio because you've got a topic that you're writing about. In my case, it's health or travel or mental illness or anything that can be tied into anxiety and worry and things like that. So there's a great opportunity to have radio interviews about these topics and be able to tie it in with the book. And in any sort of nonfiction subject, you can do that. If you're writing something about local history, you can get on a local radio or local news channel to talk about that, because that's of interest to people who live around here. So, depending on what you're writing about, there's a lot of really neat opportunities with radio. There are web radio sites as well, where it's not necessarily on a radio channel like in your car, but it's on the web. So you can go and get on a website, and the interview will be there on the website. So I've done a number of radio interviews where it's, someone who lives in Nebraska, and they have like a radio show about writers. And so I was able to pitch to them and got on that. And so now there's people in Nebraska who know about me that I wouldn't have been able to get to them any other way, that I would have thought of. And so this was sort of it's free. It took an hour of my time, but it was very fun. And it also just sort of helps you, any of these little things, like I said, you just keep at it, and any of these little things help you, because they make you a better speaker. They help you get more comfortable talking about your work. Sometimes you write something and it might be hard for you to explain to people at first, but the more you do these activities, the more you're going to be able, with ease, to talk about them and sell them and get people excited about them. So do the radio. If you're lucky and can get into TV, that'd be great. I haven't reached the TV mode yet, but I'm working on it right now. We'll see how that goes. It may start off with like local access or something, but that's okay. Baby steps. Book signings, speaking engagements. The public library is a good resource for you. Reach out to the public library. I've been amazed at how easy it is. If you've written nonfiction or fiction, even short stories, a group of short stories, or poetry, or anything that you're doing, you reach out to them, and they are more than happy with local authors to have them come in and have an evening, and you give them enough time, and they'll put you in that, like I'm in Anne Arundel County, and they have this Anne Arundel County magazine for spring and summer, each season, and it just has all the activities that are happening, and you'll be promoted in that. So a whole group in that community is going to see, whether they come or not, they're going to see who you are and what you've written, and that draws some attention for free to you. There's a running theme here, free. I don't have a lot of extra money to spend on all of these sort of promotional things, and my publisher doesn't have a lot of money to spend on these promotional things, and so you do the best you can with the resources available. So these are a lot of really good free ones.